Want to know what the movers and shakers of New Hampshire's performing arts are thinking? Welcome to New Hampshire Unscripted with your host, Ray Dudley.
They're looking for and stuff like that. So it's good to be able to give people a little more insight than we normally do.
Yeah. And one of the things I was thinking was it's a lot more personal. I know there's 100 people, but still it's a lot closer to one-on-one than
yeah.
not.
It's nice. And when we do it on Zoom, we can see everybody, and then we let people ask their questions out loud, so everyone kind of feels a little bit connected.
Yeah. It's a really great thing. I saw the video the other day too of all the people saying thanks. That was sweet. There was a lot of touching moments inside that.
It was really powerful. I was so surprised. Not surprised, but overwhelmed with how many people responded to it.
Well, it was 12 minutes long.
I know. And we gave them 2 days to do it.
That was crazy. 12 minutes. I thought, and there had to be, I don't know how many people submitted, but.
I don't know how many exactly, but there were hundreds in there.
Who ended up editing that?
Me.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, I hope you had a big bottle of wine when you did that
right? One. It was quite the process. And I have a 1.5-year-old, so, doing it in between, taking care of her.
Oh my God, that's terrible. That's terrible.
Hi, Julie.
Hi, Julie.
How are you? Hi, Ray. How are you?
Hi. Good.
Thank you so much for having us.
What? No, you're welcome. I see you're Aaron now, according to your...
Oh, sorry. Yeah, let me fix that.
Oh, no, that's okay. Don't worry about it. That's fine. I appreciate you guys really coming on. So I wanted to ask you questions as somebody who's fairly new in the industry. Maybe go from that way. And when I say fairly new, pretty much like the last 3 years, maybe 4 years. And I know nothing about film. I mean, I've done some, I don't know. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. So I went out to your website, the Bacon blog to be exact. And so I saw the one from April of last year. And that said that that was your 3rd year, I think, last year, right? You've been around 3 years, now you're 4?
Yeah, we'll be 4 next month.
Right? Yeah. So can you fill me in on why Slate happened? Because now you're kind of like the Five Guys burger coming into the play against the McDonald's and the Burger Kings, right? How did that happen? How did you decide, oh, no, there's plenty of room. We can do it bigger, better, new and improved?
Yeah. Well, I had been freelancing for a while, and I would always, Julie and I have been friends forever. And so things were picking up and things were getting busier, and I was getting a lot of clients calling me for jobs. And I was like, hey, Julie, you should jump in on this with me. Things are going well. And then the conversation just kind of evolved, and we decided to take the leap. I mean,
so we
hadn't been another casting company in town in
decades.
Yeah. So we felt like some fresh blood might be nice.
Yeah, and it has been, actually. So it can't be easy. I mean, it's not like everybody gets out of bed every day saying, oh, I have 1 million contacts in the industry. I'm just going to go start my own casting agency. How was the ramp-up period? How did that work?
Well, it's kind of interesting because it is sort of a 2-pronged process, because you need to know the acting community. Mm-hmm. But you also need to know sort of the production agency world, who would be your clients. So what was kind of nice is that Ashley and I kind of had a great combination of those contacts, between being in the business for a long time and knowing the acting pool. And Ashley has been casting nonstop for many years. And I started my career as a producer in town. So I've sort of built up a kind of a network of potential clients, and I love doing sort of the marketing and PR piece of it. So between the two of us, it was a nice combination of knowing people and spreading the word, and building the database. And Ashley had been working with our database of casting networks. She was really one of the first casting directors in New England to use that. And so she had already started to build that when we started, which was phenomenal. So
you're sitting at your table, according to the Bacon blog, getting ready to hit the button or to fire up your first web page. Did you have prospects in the works at that point, or were you like, okay, we're going to go live and then we're going to go out and beat the bushes to get clients?
I had a couple existing clients that I had been working with. I didn't have any like specific jobs lined up. Like I didn't know there was going to be a casting in 3 days, but no, I mean, other than the clients that we knew and we had a plan of how we were going to reach out to everybody, it was to hit the button and keep your fingers crossed.
So it's insane when you think about what you've done, because, I mean, to build it from scratch, did you end up with a database? How did you, I'm not even sure how I found you originally. I ended up, my first work with you was on Daddy's Home 2.
Oh, yeah.
Which we'll get into in a minute. So what was there, were there things prior to that you had tested this out with and then jumped into something like Daddy's Home 2?
Well, Daddy's Home 2 was maybe a year in. I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly, but the database built, I would say slow and steady, but really fast and steady. Yeah. We did a ton of outreach to acting communities, theaters. Julie had done a lot of scouting at recent shows, and word kind of traveled, and our acting database exploded pretty quickly. Whether it was people getting in casting networks or us just receiving headshots and resumes. I mean, we have hundreds and hundreds and thousands of headshots and resumes.
Yeah. And you did I don't know if you still do, a lot of your casting were like open house things, right? Where you just go and have like a VFW hall where people would come and audition, correct?
For the movies, for DH2, we definitely did a ton of open calls because we knew we were going to need a lot of people. And it didn't necessarily have to be people that had a ton of acting experience. So we did a lot of those. We've met thousands and thousands through those.
Yeah. And it is a good way to touch base with the community too. And we would do them in different areas. So we were kind of reaching out to not just Boston centric, but going outside of Boston and getting more people involved, which was great.
Right. I remember, I think you had one in like Haverhill, out in that area. Yeah. I remember them vividly.
Yeah.
So what are you as an agency? What do you do? What do you not do? For people who maybe they don't have an agent and they don't know what's really going on, do they even need an agent if they use you? Can you give us an idea of what's going on there?
Well, we are technically not an agency. We're a casting company, which means we don't represent specific talent. So for us, if it really doesn't matter to us if someone has an agent or doesn't have an agent. We would still, request that you come in. And if you do have an agent, we would tell your agent that we would like to see you or see you direct. The agents in Boston, it's really come into being in the past like 3 to 4 years, right, Ash? When you say that they're representing more actors as opposed to models. It used to be really only models had an agent for a lot of print work, but more actors are working with agents. But from our point of view, you could have an agent or you don't have an agent. It doesn't, your chances of coming in are exactly the same.
Okay.
And I think something that confuses people is the difference between a casting company and an agency.
Right.
We are hired by the production company or the ad agency to hold a casting session and find actors for a project. That's, we're paid by the production company or the ad agency, whereas an agent represents talent. So they, they put their talent out there and try to get them into castings, and then they make their money when their client, their actor books a job. They get a plus 20% or plus 10% on top of what their client's making. Yeah.
Thanks for that distinction. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to think the other night what it was that I really liked about Slate as opposed to some other agencies. And when I went back out to your website, you have a video on the front page, and it hit exactly on what I think that I felt. You say in your video, we want to make actors feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And that was exactly the word I was looking for. Whenever I go down to audition, I always feel I'm only there maybe if I'm in the room 30 seconds or whatever, but I have always come away happy that I went, even if I don't get anything. It's just it, and I don't know how you do that, because you're not handing out bonbons and coffee or cinnamon buns or anything.
We do
We're
hand out
in, we're
bonbons.
out. How do you do that?
Well, we definitely, Ashley and I have a philosophy from the get-go that we love actors and we love the process, and it's true that we want you to feel comfortable when you come, because that's going to make a good audition and make a good experience for everybody. And it's harder to make it uncomfortable and awful. Like, it's much easier to be nice and welcoming, because we all want you to do well, and and we honestly like everybody.
Yeah.
It sounds so stupid, but it's kind of like, you like to work with people you like to work with. And Ash and I, from the beginning, were like, we don't want this to be stressful, because if it is, then why do it?
Right.
It's not worth it.
Yeah. So for people who don't know, there are other places where you go and you end up on a bench with like 15 other people who look kind of like you because they're auditioning for the same role. And it is very intimidating to have to go through that and sit there, and you're in, you're out, and it's just, I don't want to use the word sterile, but it's a little colder than Slate. So you say also on your website that you tend to specialize in commercials. Is that right? I mean, you did do Castle Rock, Daddy's Home 2. I want to talk about that waiting line at Castle Rock, by the way, for that audition date in the heat up the hill. That was insane.
Oh my God, I agree. I've never been so hot in my entire life.
Poor Julie was dripping with sweat, and then she came in to me, she was like, I just had to do press.
Yeah.
She was dripping with sweat.
There's thousands of people lining outside the building. It's 110 inside, no air conditioning. I don't know why.
Oh, it was awful. Oh,
what a day that was. My God.
Sure.
You were a trooper for coming. Thank you.
And it was one of the hottest days of the summer. I couldn't believe, oh my God. But so many people came.
Yeah.
So do you prefer commercials over, say, TV or film, or does it not matter?
Not a preference.
Yeah.
We tend to get a lot of commercial work. So we're turning over 3 to 4 commercials a week usually for castings. Movies are great. We love them. They're a different beast, so to speak. You have a dedicated team that's working on a movie, and it's usually 12 to 16 weeks you're working on a movie. So it's just a different type of casting. We love them both.
Yeah.
We just tend to get a lot more commercial work.
It was very impressive on Daddy's Home 2 to see you folks there at 8 o'clock in the morning or 7 when we had to show up as background work.
Oh, Ray, I've been there at 4 before.
Oh, I can't believe
Ashley can tell you stories.
Well, okay. But I was very grateful because I didn't know you personally. And I mean, I still don't really, but it was just so, I'm going to use the word comforting again, to show up, we get off the buses, we get in line, and you're there. You're saying hi to people, you're walking down the line, saying hi to every background actor who's there, knowing that they're at least going to be there for 10 to 16 hours, depending on how the shoot goes.
Yeah.
And we're all bringing our winter clothes, by the way, because we're filming in the summer, a winter scene at the movie theater in Lowell. That was crazy. So thank you for that.
Oh, thank you guys. I mean, you guys put in the work. We're just there to say thank you and show you how much we appreciate you being there. We're in it with you.
That was insane. So I did want to touch a little bit. I was going to do it later, but there were some things going on there that actors shouldn't be doing.
Mm.
And some folks were called out and never came back because they ended up doing like, I don't know, a not television, but they were being interviewed by like the local TV station. And since I'm bringing it up, can you get into all that about some of the things you should and should not maybe do on set that cost these people a chance to be in that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you should never talk about the project unless you specifically have permission to talk about the project. You know, we all want to kind of keep that integrity of the movie. We're making a movie that's going to come out later. You're in on it from, you know, the start. So never exposing any details of the project, just so people can enjoy it later. Everybody signs a confidentiality agreement, so you're breaking that when you do that. You should never take pictures and post them anywhere. We say, you know, if you get permission from a PA or something to take a picture when you're on set, save that and you can post it after the movie comes out. You know, and then a lot of people are always tempted to want to go up to the celebrities that are in the movie. And they're working too, you know, they're doing their job just like you are. So not going up to them and saying, hey, can I get your autograph or can I get a photo? You know, they're in the zone too. So that's another thing we don't like people doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Answering your phone in the middle of a take. That's not good.
There were hundreds of people at Daddy's Home 2, all stuck kind of in the movie theater area there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know who the folks are. I think the same folks who, I don't know, this is my ignorance, forgive me. The folks who help you kind of shepherd us through.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're the same folks who worked on Castle Rock, at least when I was down there.
Probably.
And they were wonderful. You know, you got hundreds of people with children sitting in this auditorium who may not even be on set for sometimes 8 hours.
Yeah.
And they come in, they did their job. They never really got angry at anybody. They never chewed anybody out. I don't know where you find those folks, but they were worth the money, I'll tell you.
We actually don't find them. Those are the production assistants, and they're found by the production company. We're very fortunate in New England that it's a smaller pool of them, so they've worked a lot of the projects. And you know, I can name Stephen Turro is one of them, and he was there with you guys on DH2, and they're amazing. You know, they care about you. They're in it. They're there for the long day. They're there before you. They're there after you. But they're awesome.
They were very kind, and they were the same way on Castle Rock season 1. I was just back on season 1, and they were so gracious. I know we stressed them out at times, so it was just kind of them. So what projects what projects have you been the most proud of up till now? Oh, my freaking email. What projects have you been like the most proud of up till? Oh my God! Hang on, I'm quitting out of my email. Okay.
Gives us time to think.
Yeah.
So you've been 4 years, almost 4 years now or so, right? So that's a really, you've had a great run. What stands out in your mind?
Well, I know one, Ash. Another piece of Slate that we really enjoy working on is called Real People Casting, which is not necessarily an actor playing a role, but someone who really is that person that a client is looking for. And in one case, we were called upon to find an Irish grandmother. It had been seriously a worldwide search. And Ash, you can take it from here. Yeah. This is a crowning moment.
It was really great. They had been searching for her, you know, across nationwide. And the director came to us and he said, I need this needle in the haystack and I need an authentic Irish grandmother to carry this spot. And so we did tons of outreach and, you know, met a lot of people. And someone emailed me, there's this woman that sings at the pub in Revere. You should track her down. I think this is her information. So finally somehow got her contact information. I think I talked to her daughter first. And I met her at her house in Revere. I showed up 5 minutes early. She wasn't ready for me. She had curlers in her hair. But she invited me into her home. She had made soda bread for us.
Oh man.
And we just chatted, and she was the real deal. And I guess I can say this was for a Volkswagen spot because it's already come out. And she had actually traveled across the country in a Volkswagen Bug, like way back in the day.
Wow.
So after I got out of there, I called Julie. I was like, I found her.
I'll never forget it.
Yeah, and she got booked, and they did this amazing commercial where they traveled across the country and kind of filmed their journey, and it was awesome. That was one of our best.
She's like 80. She was 80, I think, when you found her, or late.
Yeah, she was in her 80s for sure.
Yeah,
Yep.
in her 80s.
So there's hope for us old folks yet.
She got her SAG card out of it.
What?
She doesn't even
Oh
take
my
our calls anymore.
Yeah.
Well, so that's how you know then I'm not SAG, because I took we're talking. What should an actor know? So many times we get an audition notice like 48 hours before the date. So what should an actor do? Do they need to memorize the sides that come out? Do they not? Do they dress up? I've gone to auditions and there's people in costume and I'm like, what? No one said anything to me about it. So can you give us some tips on what we should or shouldn't do as actors when we show up?
Sure. As far as wardrobe goes, we'll definitely tell you what it should look like. We go by what the character is. So you'll see a lot of upscale casual or nice business, or you want to somewhat look the part you're doing. If you're reading for a manager or a dad, we'll give you tips on how to dress. And as far as the sides go, I think rule of thumb is to be as familiar with it as you can, but don't be afraid to hold your script in the audition. We'd rather have you do that than say, I got it. And then of course nerves can kick in, and then you may stand there with, deer in the headlights. So we'd rather have you have it and be able to refer to it if you need to. Ash, you want to?
Yeah, for sure. And you said you get the audition notice 48 hours in advance, and that I can understand is super stressful as an actor.
Yeah.
We're not holding back any information. We don't get the job until then, and we get it out as fast as we can.
Yeah. Every time I show up, I seem to get Ashley all the time, and she keeps saying to me, "You do a lot of theater, don't you?" I don't know why she keeps saying that, but I just, yes, I do. So, so if I'm showing up for a role for a doctor, I don't have to go get a white coat, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
No,
Thanks for
that's
that,
not
because I have
necessary.
seen that, by the way. So not there, not at Slate, but
Nope, you don't need to do that.
yeah. Thank you. So you also do classes, and for years ago, when I'm talking 10, 15, maybe 20 years ago, classes were kind of a way for agencies to make some money. I don't know if they were really helpful to getting an actor before a casting agent. So can you talk about the quality, the value of a class, why people might want to take them, and that help us understand that they're not just a scam so that the agency can raise money?
Totally. So we run very few classes at Slate. We each teach a class, and my class, I teach for kids and teens. I teach auditioning. Erin teaches auditioning for adults, and Julie teaches a breaking into the business class, how to market yourself as an actor. For me, I'm not teaching you how to act. I'm not an acting coach. I'm not an acting teacher. I'm teaching you how to audition, because I've run hundreds and thousands of auditions. I can tell you what works in the room. I can tell you what you're doing that the casting director is seeing on the other end. Taking a class in a casting office sometimes makes you more comfortable in the room that you're going to audition in. You're kind of getting that real life experience. It's not an audition to get a job. It's not, by taking a class, you're not getting an audition to get a job.
That's
from our
important.
perspective.
Thank you.
And, yeah. I mean, we kind of look at ourselves as we want to help you understand the process. And for my class, there's so many people out there who have it on their bucket list try to get into this business and don't know the first thing about it. And I get it, because like I have kids who are in sports, and I wish sometimes there was someone that I could take a class with how to get them into club sports or whatever it is. You know, I have no knowledge of that. So I kind of look at it as like, this is helping people understand the process and what they need to do. And then it's up to them to follow up. And, you know.
So what should an actor not do in an audition?
Good question.
Don't be in a bad mood.
Yeah.
When you walk in. Kind of let it go.
Just because we had to drive into Boston, pay to park, why would we possibly be in a bad mood?
Right. I've had actors who got in a car accident, like on their way in. Shake it off and come in, because that's your moment. When you walk in. That is your moment, and you need to make the best of it. I'm always about the mood and being friendly and putting your best foot forward no matter what. Ash?
Yeah, and don't, going back to, you know, how you said, do people need to memorize the script? Don't stress over that. Hold your script, you know, you get the idea behind the project, do your performance. Don't get bogged down in the, you know, intricacies of the words and what is the client looking for. Just give your best performance. That's what we're looking for. If we need to see something different, we're going to ask for it, and we'll tell you, you know, what we need to see. We want you to give your best performance. You know, if you look good, we look good. So
yeah. What can you hit upon? As actors, we're terrible, because when we don't get a role and we don't have any idea why, and there can be a gajillion reasons. Can you just, for people who may not know, that they're never going to hear if they don't get it, can you tell them it's not because of maybe what they had done, but there are other reasons possibly why they didn't get the role?
there are so many.
Many. It's like I always say it's like a big jigsaw puzzle. And the producers and directors are like trying to piece everyone together. And sometimes you feel like there's no rhyme nor reason. And I wish there, like we always say, we wish we knew what the rationale was behind decisions, but a lot of times we don't. And you can't take it personally. You just can't. And we say that, you know, auditioning is really the job of the actor. Every time you go in, you're performing, and getting the role is gravy. You know, that's cherry on top.
Yeah, for sure.
And I probably shouldn't change my looks once I've auditioned, right? Just in case I
Yeah.
Good point.
It's happened before. It has happened.
Yeah. Who would have thunk that? Can you touch on that? Why is that important, that I don't go out and all of a sudden get a haircut? Or
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely had moments. I had an audition once where this girl was auditioning for a part, and then all of a sudden she like dyed her hair pink, and then they wanted to book her, and her hair was pink, and it wasn't in the audition. You should just check with the casting company before you're going to make any drastic change to your appearance, and say, hey, has this booked yet? I'm going to get a haircut.
or dye my hair pink.
Yeah, exactly.
Ray, that'd be a good look on you.
Yeah. I get that a lot. So also on the Bacon blog, whoever wrote, I don't know who wrote the latest one back in June or July, but apparently there's a problem where actors will show up for an audition knowing that they are not available for the shoot day.
Oh, our availability blog.
Why don't we mind that a little bit?
I think Julie wrote that one.
I did. I started off really harsh, and now she's like, I think we need to redo this.
It was still pretty scathing, I got to say, as it was. But
well,
so what was going on there? Why don't you tell us what's happening?
We have had issues where we let actors know what the shoot date is. And when we say what a shoot date is, we don't know for sure what time of day it's going to be. It could be an early morning shoot. It could be an evening shoot. You know, if it's an overnight, we typically know that. But a day shoot could run till 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night. We just don't know. So we need to make sure that actors are available that whole day in order for them to come in. And we sort of had a string of actors getting booked and then saying, oh, but I have to have an out time at 4:00. I can't not have that. And that's just not good. Because then we have to go back to the client, and it doesn't work out for everybody to have that happen.
I would think too that kind of puts you on a watch list, doesn't it? Of, potentially not getting cast in the future. I mean, I don't know if you do that, but doesn't it kind of red flag you a little bit?
It wouldn't. We don't have like a hit list of
Sure.
We don't have a blackball list. What it does is it is a bit of a red flag that we would double check with with whoever this was that maybe had done this in the past and say, listen, are you sure you're available the whole day? We just are double checking afterwards.
Yeah.
We would prefer not to have to do that. So availability is key. And if we understand, if you're not available, don't come. It's okay to say no to an audition. If you're not available to do the shoot, that's totally fine. We all have lives, and although none of us have lives at the moment, but we understand that, and that's completely acceptable. Right. It's not acceptable to not be available on the shoot and know that and still come in for the audition. It's just not.
To me, it borders on rude. And I'll just leave
yeah.
It's just inconsiderate to the client too. When we present the link of options to the client, we're presenting it as if these people as of today are all available for your shoot.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So where does Slate go from here? I meant to, Aaron is also part of it. You didn't have to mention his name, and you didn't, but he is part of the trio.
Yes, yes, he is.
I just want to throw his name out there. So where does Slate go from here? What are you hoping to do over the next few years?
Good question.
That is, wow, Ray, you're like coming up with a good one.
I just assumed you were all like had your 5-year projection on your refrigerator with your goals, and I guess not.
We're lucky if we have a 5-minute projection.
Yeah, right.
Of what's going on.
What are we doing after lunch today, Ad? I think slow and steady.
More of the same.
Yeah. And I think getting to know more of the actor pool is really key. And I think also in this time, helping our clients with however they're going to have to make changes or adapt to sort of the new world, and who knows what that's going to look like. And we just want to make sure that we're prepared and ready to assist them in any way that we can. And same with actors. I mean, Ashley's been talking a lot about actors recently about, self-tapes and what that's going to look like and how to do that in even better ways. Because I think we have to be ready for whatever is coming our way in terms of doing auditions in the near future.
So are self-tapes, I'm glad you brought that up. Is that something that you think is going to happen more and more and more? I've already had to do it a few times. It's uncomfortable, but I don't want to have to do it. It takes me over 2 hours to get to Boston from where I am. And so self-taping is kind of nice on one level. But so do you see that as a future tool that's becoming more and more important?
I think with the current environment, yes, I think it's going to become a thing. Before all of this was happening, we would accept self-tapes if people couldn't get to the audition, but we always found that it was better to have the actor in the room because we could work with them and we kind of knew the direction the client was heading. But I think now we're going to see more and more self-tapes. And so actors kind of becoming familiar with that process because we don't know when we're going to be able to all be in the studio again.
Yeah.
I also don't know, but there could be a situation where we're doing auditions kind of like we're talking right now, where you do a read and I, redirect you over Zoom. We could be seeing something like that.
So you've been gracious to give me the time. 2 more questions and then I'm done. So what happens to a casting company during this quarantine time? I'm sure you guys just aren't sitting around hoping something. I know you have to be busy in the background. What's taking place back there?
Well, we just released yesterday a really amazing video that we reached out to the acting community.
Saw it.
Yeah. So Ashley edited that and spent many hours working on that, which we're doing weekly Q&As with anyone who would like to join us. Either we've done breakfast, we've done lunch, and we've done happy hour. Happy hour is my favorite. So we want to make sure that we're still connected with the acting community, and we are, definitely continuing to reach out to our clients. And we've been casting. We have been doing remote casting, which has been great.
Yeah,
So
we just did a casting for something that would be user-generated content. So whoever gets booked is going to actually film the commercial themselves at their house.
Oh, that's impressive.
The client will send them the product and that kind of thing. So,
wow.
And then we did we've been doing some voiceover casting, which is really made for being remote.
Yeah.
So it's not totally quiet, which is great. And we only expect it we hope to really take off.
Yeah. So before the quarantine, this is really my last question, but before the quarantine, did you have some big projects that were coming up? I know you probably can't mention them if they haven't already hit, but things that you were excited about that like the next season of Castle Rock or whatever that might be. Are there things that once this breaks, you're going to hit the ground running?
Hopefully.
Yeah.
We had a full calendar of commercials ahead, and we were actually in the we had callbacks scheduled, and then everything happened and we had to cancel everybody. So there's a bunch of projects that actually already booked that haven't shot yet.
Right.
And then there were a lot of pending projects, and I guess we just don't know. We don't know what is to come. I think the creatives and the producers are kind of all trying to navigate this world right now, and once they dial it in, we'll start hearing more.
Yeah.
Anything that you want to say as Slate that you need to tell people, actors or not actors, that you feel is important before we end?
Now is the time, I think, when you have the time, is to practice at home. Work on potentially figuring out self-taping and maybe doing them just on your own to feel comfortable in front of the camera, just in the event that does become more of a thing. And if someone hasn't heard of Slate until now, we would love to hear from you, and you can go to Slate. I feel like I'm a presidential candidate. Go to slatecasting.com. Don't donate, but
I was going to go there. It's a great segue. Go ahead and give that information. How do they contact you? How do they reach out?
Slatecasting.com. And feel free. All of our emails are on there, and send us your headshot and resume if you'd like, or any questions that you might have. Ashley, Aaron, and I are all really good on email, and we'll get right back to you if you have any questions. And sign up for our email, because that's where you find out a lot about the projects that we're working on.
Yeah. They should read the Bacon blog, because there's some warnings out there. They should. Your Q&A, is that every week now, or?
We've been doing them every week. So yeah, anyone can join in on that. It doesn't matter what level you're at in your career. If you haven't even started yet and you're interested, it's kind of cool to hear the questions other actors are asking.
Do you post that on Facebook? How do they find that?
So yes, we post on Facebook, and Ashley's an Instagram queen, and we send out constant contact to email. So yeah, so people should like us on Facebook, because we do post everything on there.
Okay. Well, I'm a happy camper.
Thank you.
I got my dose of Slate without having to go to Boston.
Yeah.
I'm very happy. Thank you guys so much. Julie, Ashley, I appreciate it. I really do. Your time is precious, and I know that. And you're in your home, so that means you took time away from your families. Aaron doesn't know me, but say hi to Aaron for me.
He will. Yeah.
Just, I don't want him to feel left out, Maybe I should send him cookies or something. Thank you so much. I appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Ray.
Thank you very much. Great
Stay
to-
safe.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.